From News 3 Now, this is breaking news.
Breaking news tonight from the town of Middleton. The Dane County Sheriff's Office investigating a double homicide.
There is a law enforcement presence in the 8500 block of Stonebrook Circle, and that's where we find our Maddie Heims. Maddie.
Stonebrook Circle, like you said, Sarah and Eric, in the town of Middleton, where the Dane County Sheriff's Office says a man and a woman were found inside a home dead just before 2:30 this afternoon. I'm going to step out, let you take a look at the scene here. There are plenty of law enforcement vehicles in the area, and they're turning neighbors away now. I spoke to a neighbor who said that the people in this area really know their neighbors pretty well, so it's causing a bit of concern. Now, we just spoke to Dane County Sheriff Kelvin Barrett, who says a suspect in this homicide investigation was identified and is also now dead. That was the most recent update we just got from the sheriff. He tells us he'll continue to provide updates as the situation develops. But for now, reporting live in the town of Middleton, I'm Maddie Heims, News 3 Now.
We'll check back in with Maddie shortly, and we'll continue to follow this story through our mobile app and channel3000.com. Maddie, thank you. Now to weather. A low chance of rain tonight, but will we stay dry for concerts on the square tomorrow?
That's right. Meteorologist Blaze Keller has the details.
And I think we will stay dry for concert goers tomorrow. We will see an isolated shower chance, but even compared to the rain that we're seeing now, it's going to be even less widespread. And I don't think a lot of us are going to see that rain chance come Wednesday. But let's take it into northern parts of Grant County. That's where our heaviest shower is right now, just outside of Fenimore, between us and Bosco Bell, extending back west into Mount Hope and back north and east just outside of Muscoday. This has had some lightning with it in the past, but even as it was a thunderstorm, it was below severe criteria. Off towards Mineral Point in Dodgeville, another couple of showers extending back into Platteville, and then we head off to the Dells, where we're once again seeing a little bit of rain activity between us and, say, Mauston. So this is going to be kind of what we expect for the rest of this evening, just these hit or miss showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, but we're not anticipating any severe weather, not only this evening through about 9 o'clock, and then we will wrap up with the rain, but we'll once again see that isolated rain chance as we head into the afternoon hours on Wednesday. And much like today, we're not anticipating any severe weather if we do see any thunderstorms Wednesday either. There is a look towards downtown Madison. It's 81 degrees. The dew points are in the 70s, so it's a bit humid out there. We're going to take a look at Friday's rain chance and what next week has in store for us in just a few minutes.
All right, Blaze, thank you. A new survey is showing inadequate staffing and a lack of financial resources are the primary issues facing fire departments all across Wisconsin.
Our Kyle Pozorski shares the findings and what an Iowa County fire chief believes is the root cause.
A recently published survey of more than 400 Wisconsin fire chiefs found several issues impacting fire departments across the Badger State. One of those is a lack of adequate numbers of firefighters to respond to calls. The findings showed that 62% of chiefs are worried they will be unable to adequately staff their first two apparatuses in the next year. It's a problem especially true for rural communities, a vast majority of which are staffed by volunteers.
We haven't found the magic wand to wave to get recruits yet at this point.
Chief Todd Pinkham of Arena Fire and EMS says he and other chiefs in southwestern Wisconsin are all facing a similar and prevalent problem, a lack of interest in people looking to join the departments.
We've tried Facebook advertising, putting posts out, hey, we have fire EMS classes come out. We really need volunteers. We need help. Please join. We get minimal response, if any.
He says a way to possibly improve recruiting is by holding more events encouraging community. That's where he says departments can reach out to people trying to get them interested in joining up.
It goes beyond, just fire and EMS. You look at any community organization right now, they're struggling for volunteers.
Another finding shows chiefs are seeing more and more employers refusing to let workers leave to respond to calls. In Arena, Kyle Pozorski, News 3 Now.
Kyle, thank you. It was in February of this year when both the village and town of Arena came to a new agreement to fund the fire and EMS district for the next 10 years.
The death toll is now at 109 from the catastrophic flooding in central Texas. 5 campers and 1 counselor from Camp Mystic are still missing. It is unclear how many people in total are still unaccounted for. Officials in Kerr County, Texas say they are not focused on the timeline of events from early last Friday morning or whether more could have been done to alert the public as those floodwaters rose rapidly.
Team up here is focused on bringing people home. That's our focus. All those questions will be answered, but the priority right now is bringing people home.
Meanwhile, President Trump and the First Lady will visit the devastated area Friday and survey the damage. The president has praised rescue and response efforts so far.
A Wisconsin candle company is raising funds to help those who are affected by these Texas floods. It's part of Door County Candle Company's Candles Creating Change initiative. The special candle is vanilla scented with 100% of the profits going to flood relief efforts. According to the company's website, the 16-ounce candle will burn for 75 hours and sells for $29.95.
It means a lot that we can be a way to create change to help those impacted by such tragic disasters. So I'm very grateful for the community we've built.
And you can help with relief and search efforts by donating, and you can do that at the Red Cross or Salvation Army. Still to come at 6, the top leadership in the Democratic Party reacts to President Trump's budget bill.
And that piece of legislation fulfills one of the president's campaign promises, the impact of no tax on tips on Wisconsin workers. That's next.
And later on at 6, we will have continuing coverage from the scene in the town of Middleton as the Dane County Sheriff's Office investigates a double homicide. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Over the weekend, President Trump's budget bill was signed into law.
And now the Democratic Party is reacting to its passing. The legislation increases spending for border security and defense, and it extends the president's 2017 tax cuts. However, it makes steep cuts to safety net programs, including SNAP, the Food Assistance Program, and Medicaid. The Democratic National Committee's chair says hundreds of thousands of Wisconsinites alone will be impacted by those cuts.
Over 276,000 Wisconsinites are going to lose health insurance because of Trump's billionaire budget. And the historically large cuts to SNAP funding, as I mentioned, in this billionaire budget, as we call it, is going to put 49,000 Wisconsinites at risk of losing their food assistance.
President Trump called the legislation, quote, a triumph of democracy. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates the package will add more than $3 trillion to the deficit over the next decade. In that bill is a fulfilled campaign promise for the president, no tax on tips.
Our Ellie LaLiberte breaks down if that promise will help Wisconsin workers.
For Wisconsinites in various different industries, making tips is an essential part of making a living. So I look to find out if this legislation helps them do that.
We represent 7,000 locations.
Susan Quam is the executive vice president of the Wisconsin Restaurant Association.
Many of our folks are part-time, either supplemental income to the family or are students putting themselves through school.
She's been advocating for no tax on tips.
This will help them achieve their goals as individuals.
With this provision, workers will be able to deduct up to $25,000 in tips annually with an income cap of $150,000.
That's going to cover a huge portion of what people are earning.
A May report from the White House's Council of Economic Advisors estimates that eliminating this tax on tips for eligible workers will increase take-home pay by roughly $1,600. However, there are 4 million tipped workers in the U.S., and nearly a third of them don't make enough to pay a federal income tax.
The tax on tips is not the first problem I would solve for tipped workers in this economy.
Laura Dresser is a labor economist and professor at UW-Madison. She says tipped workers face more serious issues like access to benefits.
I would think about strengthening the wage floor that functions for them rather than pretending that solving a small problem in tips is where the real bang for the buck is.
Now, under this budget bill, the tip tax cut only extends through 2028. So theoretically, Congress could restrict or abolish it in the future. Reporting in Madison, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Ellie. Although there are still some questions about how the IRS will apply this tax cut, it will be in effect for the entire 2025 tax year. And after the break at 6, we will have continuing coverage as the Dane County Sheriff's Office investigates a double homicide in the town of Middleton. Stay.
From News 3 Now, this is breaking news.
More coverage now. The breaking news in the town of Middleton, where Dane County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a double homicide.
And there's been a law enforcement presence there in the 8500 block of Stonebrook Circle. And that's where we find our News 3 Now's Maddie Heimsch. Any updates for us, Maddie?
Yeah, as far as most recent updates, I'm going to start with what we just learned. The suspect in this double homicide case is now dead. That suspect was pulled over by police after fleeing to Verona County. Now, we don't know how they died, but we do know that they were not cooperating with police. And we just got some of that information as well as a little bit more from Dane County Sheriff Kelvin Barrett. I'm going to let you hear what he just told us.
At approximately 2:21 p.m., our deputies received a call that the caller found two individuals unresponsive inside of the house. Deputies arrived on scene, made the scene safe, and confirmed that there were two deceased individuals, a male and a female. A suspect was identified as leaving the area and was later contacted by additional law enforcement agencies outside of Dane County. They are in contact with that individual, and at this point, the individual is deceased.
I'm going to let you take another look at the scene here. Like you just heard from Sheriff Barrett, a man and woman were found dead by a caller just before 2:30 this afternoon. And as we've been here, we've seen police vehicles, police and detectives make their way through the neighborhood, asking neighbors questions. A lot of neighbors here just wondering what happened. They say it is the kind of area where people know most of their neighbors, of course, causing a lot of concern in the area. But we heard from Sheriff Barrett that he will be providing more information as they learn it, and we'll be providing that to you on air and online at channel3000.com. For now, reporting live in the town of Middleton, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
All right, Maddie, thank you. We'll continue to provide updates as we get them. That other incident, by the way, in Vernon County, we understand, was that other location. Maddie, thank you. Next at 6, recalls of more than 1 million Ram pickup trucks are being investigated by federal auto safety regulators.
Yeah, the deficit in question could lead to a pickup's transmission being shifted out of park without the driver's foot on the brake pedal or a key in the ignition. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration got 20 reports indicating that previous recall repairs didn't fix the problem. The agency says a handful of incidents involve injuries as well. This recall query covers nearly 1.2 million pickups made by Ram model years 2013 through 2018.
President Trump doubles down on his new August 1st tariff deadline. The president saying, quote, August 1st, they pay and everybody pays. Everybody has to pay, end quote. The comment came a day after the White House started sending out letters to more than a dozen trading partners, spelling out the tariffs they'll face if they fail to reach a deal by the new deadline. The president also said a major announcement on imported pharmaceuticals is coming soon.
We're going to give people about a year and a half to come in, and after that they're going to be tariffed. If they have to bring the pharmaceuticals into the country, they're going to be tariffed at a very, very high rate, like 200%.
The announcement comes as President Trump says he is meeting for a second day in a row with Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss ending the war in Gaza. The Trump administration also addressing the war in Ukraine, saying it has approved shipments of defensive weapons to Ukraine. Our rain chances will slowly fade as we head further into the evening, but when's our next best chance of storms?
Let's hope not tomorrow. Meteorologist Blaise Keller has the answer.
That is going to return on Friday. So we'll keep the isolated chance through the rest of this evening. We'll do it again Wednesday and Thursday, but then we'll really ramp up those rain chances Friday night into early Saturday. Once the rain chances end here by about 7, 8, 9 o'clock tonight, we're going to be left with clear to mostly clear conditions as temperatures sit in the low to mid 60s. Mostly sunny on Wednesday, an isolated afternoon shower, thunderstorm can't be ruled out. I don't think it's going to impact concerts on the square. And then we'll see, as I mentioned, that better chance for rain Friday night into Saturday. We're looking at a pretty average day, maybe just slightly above average in some spots. On Wednesday, underneath mostly clear conditions, winds are going to be out of the north. Maybe a little less humid, still in the middle of summer, so it's not going to feel very, very dry out there, which is good. But a high pressure system is moving on in, and that's going to keep our skies quiet as we go into Wednesday and for the most part into Thursday as well. Speaking of concerts on the square, as we're going to be heading into the time when the music will begin, upper 70s to low 80s. Light northerly winds and a bit humid at times, especially as our temperatures start to drop a little bit. But overall, Other than that stray shower, which I don't think will impact a lot of us, we should go into Wednesday evening on the quiet side, and we'll stay there into Thursday as well. It's Friday night into Saturday that a system is going to be moving out of the Dakotas through Minnesota and Iowa and eventually impact us here in Wisconsin. And that's going to bring us that better chance for rain starting Friday night into Saturday. Right now, it doesn't look too severe. And if we were to see severe weather, it would be very, very limited because there's not a lot in the upper layers of the atmosphere to really help those showers and thunderstorms on Friday, much like what we're seeing here today. So we'll take it into the Dells on Radar 3000. That's where we do have yet another shower moving through the area. South into Baraboo, maybe a few light sprinkles. We'll go further south into Barneveld, back into Dodgeville. Heavier shower activity marked by the oranges and the reds here, staying north of Hollandale for now. Mineral Point, we're dry as well. Fenimore, Mount Ida, that shower is pushing off towards the south and east. A flash of lightning and a rumble of thunder can't be ruled out, but for the most part, these are just your average run-of-the-mill showers that we can expect as we move through the middle of summer. There is a look at your 7 and 10 day forecast. Isolated shower and thunderstorm chance Wednesday and Thursday. Better chance for rain Friday night into Saturday. And then there is a look at the rest of the weekend into our upcoming work week. Low to mid 80s pretty much throughout the extended forecast with another chance for showers and thunderstorms Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week.
And July is flying by.
Yeah, I mean, I think that takes us into the middle of July, and then we'll be into August. Had to do a little quick.
Winter starts a month later.
I mean, yeah, I'm already looking for the snow to show up on the models. So.
Summertime, though, is also camp time, right?
Yeah.
For sports camps and stuff.
You know what? The best thing about former Badgers is they always come back home, right? Coming up in sports, Brad Davison back in town, and of course he's giving back. Why his Grit basketball camp teaches more than just the game of basketball. That's next on News 3 Now. If there was one word to describe Brad Davison's basketball career at Wisconsin, it would be gritty. Today, the program's all-time three-point king was back to host his second annual Grit Youth Basketball Camp with his wife, Tyra. Now, Grit stands for gratitude, relationship, identity, toughness, and truth. Pillars the two live by and are passing on to the next generation of hoopers during their two-day basketball camp.
It's always great to come back and be a part of the Madison community. And then to run a youth basketball camp here and to give back to the community, but also to the game of basketball. We love it. My wife and I our goal in the summers is to mix our passion and our purpose. And we believe our purpose is to help others and to serve others, and our passion is basketball. So it makes perfect sense for us to come back to a place that feels like home and use the game of basketball to serve others and create positive experiences for them.
With the transfer portal closed and the NBA draft in the books, USA Today took another look at their way too early preseason top 25. The Badgers moved up 3 spots to number 16 in the poll. Wisconsin recently added Elijah Gray to a rebuilt roster with Nick Boyd, Austin Rapp, and Andrew Rohde, all transferring into Madison to team up with, of course, John Blackwell and Nolan Winter. Well, it's that time of year again when the NFL unveils its top 100 players as voted on by the players themselves. And making his top 100 debut is Andrew Van Ginkel. The former Badger is coming off his best season as a pro, recording 11.5 sacks and 18 TFLs, along with 2 pick sixes. And for that, Van Ginkel comes in at number 88 on the list. Well, from one former Badger to another, this Friday, Melvin Gordon will be back in Madison signing autographs and meeting fans at the Duck Pond for 2 hours starting at 5:35. That's ahead of the Mallards game against the Woodchucks. First pitch for that is set for 6:35. And coming up in just a few minutes, it's another big-time pitching matchup in Milwaukee when Jacob Mizorowski, the Miz, takes on Clayton Kershaw in Game 2 of their series. The Miz 3-1 on the year, while Kershaw enters 4-0. We'll have highlights of that game coming up tonight at 10. And the Brewers beat the Dodgers 9-1 yesterday. So if they can keep that and get that win.
Hopefully he's not too nervous going against Kershaw on the mound. Zach, thank you. Well, this weekend, the Dane County Farmers Market will be over at Stevens Field instead.
And that's because the annual art fair on the square returns to Madison this weekend. The Madison Museum of Contemporary Art is hosting the 67th annual art fair on July 12th and 13th.
New this year, a beer and wine garden. Mamoka partnering with Working Draft Beer Company and Square Wine Company. You can find a full list of participating artists and information about the Dane County Farmers Market change as well on our website. Head to channel3000.com.
And a final check on our forecast.
Got a few showers moving across southern Wisconsin, much like yesterday. So we'll take it around on Radar 3000 here as we begin to wrap up the 6 o'clock newscast. Up near the Dells we'll start. That's where we have a little shower just moving through the area, back into Iowa County, stretching from about Mount Horeb now into Dodgeville and further west along 151 into Fenimore, as well as down there into Platteville between us and Dickeyville. Just some showers, maybe a flash of lightning. The reds obviously indicating that heavier rain shower activity. And that's going to continue to be on and off as we go throughout the rest of this evening. And we can kind of expect that as we go into Wednesday as well, but just a lot less showers. It'll be probably 1 or 2 compared to what we're seeing this evening. As we look ahead to the rest of this evening into the start of Wednesday, we'll be eventually clear to mostly clear with temperatures in the low 60s tonight. There's a look at the rest of the work week, taking us into the weekend. I think the better of the 2 days for Art Fair on the Square is going to be Sunday. Regardless if the rain chances kind of wrap up there Wednesday, I just think Sunday's going to be better overall.
Great. Thank you, Blaze. And thanks for watching News 3 Now at 6. We will have upcoming coverage of the latest on channel3000.com and our breaking news today.
Our next newscast tonight at 10. You can always find us streaming 24/7, channel3000.